Hello and welcome to River of Hope. I'm your host, Jim Lather. During the next half hour, we'll meet a 44-year-old Sioux Falls firefighter diagnosed with terminal cancer. The purpose of this program is to raise awareness of cancer and also to provide healing water retreats for cancer patients. River of Hope is funded from a combination of corporate sponsorship and your donations. In addition to funding the River of Hope program that you're currently watching, donations will also provide financial support for integrative medical therapies that will help other cancer patients during their treatment. For more information on how you can help fight this deadly disease and help others with cancer, or nominate someone you know, log on to theriverofhopefoundation.org. Please remember as you watch that the River of Hope Foundation needs your support. Now here's the story of Dave Lorang.
Just tell that person every day how much you love them and appreciate everything that they've done for them, because it's the memories that you're left with.
This program is sponsored by the Avera Cancer Institute.
My name is Dave Lorang. I have been diagnosed with, excuse me, my wife always chews me out because I never get this word right, but it's squamous cell carcinoma. I had been fighting a sore in my mouth, and it just wouldn't go away. And of course, you always hear the thing is that if you've got a sore in your mouth and it doesn't go away after a month, you should get in and get it checked. Well, I let it go for about 2 months, and I thought, well, you know what, that's enough. I better go in and get it checked. Well, the first time I went in and saw my doctor, Dr. Helvig, she looked at it, and she immediately told me, she says, that doesn't look good. It was cancer. Doctor at the time felt that we could handle it, something that we can control with surgery. So I went in that spring, and we did surgery right away on my neck. They took a small portion of my tongue out, cut me here, took out some nodes on each side of my neck. All my stuff was clear. They felt that they had it all. Thought, okay, here we go. We got this thing beat. Went in, and I had a clean scan for Thanksgiving. So we celebrated that at Thanksgiving. We was all happy about it. It felt great. Well, immediately following Thanksgiving, the very next week, I started getting a soreness in my shoulder.
And when we did further testing, he had spread of his cancer up and down his back and many other different bones in his body.
My entire skeleton was black, and that means it had metastasized, was all the way through all the bones in my body, and it was considered stage 4, which means terminal. I have a stage 4 terminal cancer.
We started him on treatment. He did wonderful on chemotherapy. We were able to bring his disease into remission, which means there is no evidence of active cancer by scanning.
Finally, I started having pretty clean scans, of all things. And I just thank God at that point that he was letting me sit around and serve yet.
Through his treatment, he was very active. He did many different things that he wanted to do. Every time he came to the clinic to talk to me for each treatment, he always had something that he would do next. So I remember that about him.
My father died of cancer. 6 weeks from the day that we found out that he had it, he died. Now, he was only given 6 weeks, and we felt that that was a blessing. We felt that that was something that was a gift. And that's the way I, strangely enough, and I know that's a tough way to look at it, but I consider this a blessing. I consider the fact that I found out a year and a half ago that this was going on and that I was going to have trouble. I was just really glad that I found it. I consider it a blessing that I have the time to spend with my family and my friends and pass certain things on to my kids that I may not have.
This program is made possible by the Avera Cancer Institute and your donations. For more information on how you can help, please log on to riverofhopefoundation.org.
Dave is so upbeat. I mean, when I first heard that he had the cancer, you know, it was initially you feel horrible, of course, and you want to feel bad for him, but his whole outlook on it and his demeanor through the thing, it's kind of hard to be down about it because he's always so upbeat about it. And I mean, you know, he jokes about it, like if we're playing a beanbag game and you're beating him, that's when he plays that card and he'll say, "You want to go ahead and beat a guy with cancer?" He says, "Yeah, you feel good about that, don't you?"
I think he just has the greatest attitude. He's a wonderful guy. Every time he came in, he had a smile on his face. He did not let the cancer beat him down. Instead, it's the other way around.
Dave believes that God has a plan for his life and that he will not question his plan now. And everybody else, I think, pretty much falls to pieces around him, but Dave himself is a very strong, courageous person.
Yeah, I do feel a lot of urgency these days, and I've sat down with my sons a lot and told them that there's a lot of things that I want to make sure that I pass on to them, that they understand, because I won't be around to help teach them later on.
My dad got sick. I kind of learned that I'd have to be ready for the unexpected, and like pretty much anything can happen. Our lives they're a lot different, but at the same time they're a lot of the same. So it didn't affect it a ton, but it definitely affected it.
Yeah, just be ready for anything and be ready to help as much as you can.
When we were told that Dave had his cancer and is going to die, I think the first thing that we thought about was the urgency to spend so much time together and to go on trips. And we went to Disney World last year. We went to the Bahamas and went scuba diving all together as a family and with Dave's family. So I think spending all that time together and making memories is so important.
There'd be like a lot of things that we would always say, we should go do this or we should go do that. And then you just kind of blow them off. Well, now, if he says, well, we should go do this, well, then we go do that, you know, instead of just kind of blowing them off like a person does. You learn to spend more time, definitely, with the people closest to you. You know, you get used to doing it for so many years like we've done, and just the thought that maybe someday, you know, you don't have it, you know, makes it that much more meaningful.
Well, the thought of losing my dad scares me, but, you know, he's been going through it good so far, so hopefully he stays alive a lot longer.
Yeah, I think he's gonna make it through good and pull through, and I really can't picture him being gone. I try, and it's just like, no, he's always there.
It's just something that, death is something that you say that you can't help but think about, but you do think about it just because it's there, and you know that it's in your future when it didn't used to be. So you do think about it, and you think about how it's going to affect your children and how it's going to affect all of the people that loved him around him, and then that brings you back to thinking about, then you got to make the moment at this time and really make it a good day and keep bringing all those good memories, because the more memories you have, the better it's going to be.
I guess, actually, I just hope that people remember the way I am. I hope that and I hope my sons reflect this, and I hope they look at this video and go, oh yeah, great, Dad's got goals for us, great. But what I hope that people look back and they just say that, you know, he served when he was here, and I'm sure that he's still doing service somewhere, somehow. And if I'm going to remember for something, I hope that is what people remember, is that he lived as he believed, You know, he believed that you were here to serve, and that's what your whole entire duty should be, and that's what he did. And that's what I hope people remember from me.
Remember, River of Hope is made possible by your donations. For more information on how you can help, log on to the riverofhopefoundation.org.
Dave is a real caring person. He's kind of when everybody in our family has something they need help with, Dave is actually the one they will call. Dave seems to be the kind of the leader of our family.
As far as Jeff and my relationship go, Jeff's not just my brother, he's my best friend. We do everything together, we share everything together. We coach softball together, we dive together, we hunt together, we fish together. So we did everything as I suppose we grew up like everybody else did. We fought as brothers do when we were growing up as kids and stuff like that. But as we got older and you mature and stuff like that, you realize what kind of relationship you have. And like I said, he's not just my brother, he's my best friend.
I would say that his faith is very strong, because he was late coming home one day, and Jill and him his wife were supposed to go somewhere, and she said, well, what were you doing? And he said, well, I had to stop and help somebody that they had a flat tire or something on the road. And she says, well, why are you always helping people? And he said, I think that's my purpose, why God put me here.
One of my big beliefs is in a life of service. I believe that's why we were put here. I have a fairly strong faith in God, and one way that I've always lived my life is that you're here to serve other people.
I think with Dave's background, the way he grew up, and he's such a biblical person, he's a very godly man. I think that Dave, he wants to give back to the community and give back to everybody because he believes that Jesus did the same thing. And I've heard Dave say many times that I want to be just like Jesus was and help people. And that's what makes Dave such an awesome man and such a great father and such a great person. He's such a giving person. You couldn't find a better person that just loves to help people. And that just comes out of him whenever you see him and talk to him.
Since I was a young kid, I've always believed that that God put me for a reason, that I was here to do service. And I've always let him lead me as to where he wanted me to go and what he wanted me to do. But I hope that's one of the things that my sons do learn from me. I wanted to be able to help people in something that I did. And the perfect definition of that is being a firefighter. You push your body, you push your mind, and you serve people. And that's what firefighting is all about. I got on the department when I was 23 years old. Young, cocky kid, nothing but adrenaline rush, jumping on the truck, running to the fires, doing those things. That's kind of the way that whole thing started.
The support that he gets from his co-workers is tremendous, besides the support that he gets from his family. So it's very important to Dave that he has that to help him get through this journey that we're on.
One thing I know that David always talks about is, since all the way through this thing, how many of the different people that have done so much for him. In the first summer that he was diagnosed, he was going to take sick leave to spend the summer with his boys.
Driving down the road one day, I get a call from our union president, Jeff Winters. And he says, well, he says, with the kids out of school, he says, you're not coming back to work. I said, what? And he says, we're going to cover you for the entire summer. He says, we're going to time trade for you. He says, and he said he had it lined up where he had all the guys are going to work for me and give me the time off with my family. So, something that we're allowed to do, that's a pretty special thing.
They worked all of his shifts for 3 entire months, and he was so grateful, and just actually it brought him to tears. He was so thankful of what they did for him.
You know, as a union and as a brotherhood, The chief was good enough to let us work his shifts, and then we would donate our time and work our shifts on our off days to work for him. And nobody ever complained about having to work a shift for him, or we didn't have to. It was all voluntary. It's whoever wanted to. And it was great. It worked out good, and it's good to know that if something happens to me, they'll be there for me too.
I was able to spend the entire summer with my family, and that was a good thing.
You know, he might have not have called up and said, hey, you'll never know what that means to me, but I know that he thinks it.
It's one thing that I find with being a firefighter is it really puts your life in perspective. When you're a firefighter, you deal with people that have other challenges. I consider cancer a challenge, not necessarily a tragedy. I consider it a challenge for me to face. And being a firefighter in Sioux Falls here has been, you see people that have to fight other challenges and on a day-to-day basis. And it puts your own in perspective. Mine, I've got time to fight it. I've got people help me. Sometimes you roll in on scene and those people have a challenge that they're facing right then and right there. And sometimes the outcome is not that good.
I think we are reminded that a person is not just a physical body, but also has emotions, spirit. There is an unseen part of a person. Now, I think the River of Hope is providing ponds that remind us of the great creation of God and the healing powers that come from it.
When we talk about treatment of the individual, and in our cancer program, one of the things that we're really trying to move forward in is not only treating the individual with the disease, but we're looking at how do we really expand our treatment to be an extension of really what Avera McKinnon's mission is, and that's treating the whole person, the mind, body, and spirit. We understand that when a person comes to us, they come to us as a whole person. And so there's emotions and physical, mental, spiritual needs that they have, and how do we really address those needs? That's where the work of River of Hope is so important, because it's really addressing some of those additional needs that patients have when they go through cancer treatment that we're not able to provide through conventional treatment. Going through cancer treatment is so extremely stressful that they need those opportunities to de-stress and to relax and just be, and kind of allow some healing to go on with some of the other areas of who they are as an individual. And that's the important work of River of Hope.
This program is made possible by the Avera Cancer Institute and your donations. For more information on how you can help, please log on to riverofhopefoundation.org. And now back to Dave's story.
Well, I found out about the River of Hope Foundation was through, interesting enough, I got a call from a gal from McKinnon Hospital, and she described the program to me and asked if I would mind if they would put my name in for it. And I said, no, that would be perfectly fine. And I suppose it was probably about an hour and a half later, I got a call from Nate, the head of the organization, and he described it even more to me and asked if it was something I'd be interested in. And I guess I said absolutely. I said I was on board 100%. I always think that this is something, in order to deal with cancer of this magnitude, I think it's something that has to be shared. I don't think that one person can use their own personal strength to get by and get through it. I think you have to spread it out, and you have to, the more people you can get involved in your fight, the better off you are.
Remember, River of Hope is made possible by your donations. To nominate someone you know to be our next recipient, log on to theriverofhopefoundation.org.
Basically, I think the main reason is we volunteered is because when I was asked about it and if I'd be interested in doing something like this, it's right up our alley for one thing. We do a tremendous amount of water feature work, and I knew that the cause was good and that the results from what we did would be good, and plus it's a way to give back to the community, and the guys that work for me were all about it, and I enjoy the people that are putting this on to start with. This particular project was a little different because Nate, the founder, he wanted to do something that had to do with the lifestyle of the people that we were doing it for, who do a lot of fishing and outdoor things. We wanted to bring a lot of sand in. We wanted to bring a lot of old wood into the project, create a bridge over the top of it, so that you'd have that feeling of being maybe at the lake fishing, or you know, not just in your backyard, but actually away from your backyard into a more real natural type setting. So it was a little challenging, and it was a lot of fun at the same time. You know, my philosophy is everybody wants a water feature, they just don't know it. And so I understand the importance, I understand what water does to people, and I understand how it can relieve your stress and relieve some of the things that go on with you with everyday life, and even more challenging when you have some other issue in your life that you're dealing with. So I understand the importance and how that can make your life better. And so to be part of that or share that with somebody is just really doesn't get any better than that.
We'll be right back with more of Dave's story. To support River of Hope, please log on to riverofhopefoundation.org. This program is made possible by the Avera Cancer Institute and your donations.
It's the sanctuary they put in was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's we were able to sit out there a few nights with my entire family. They put in a fire pit for me too, right next to the flowing water. I love being by water. That's why I dive, that's why I boat, that's why I camp. I camp so I can go somewhere where there's water. And one thing that having this pond in my backyard and listening to the water run over these falls is, I'm instantly transported to that place. I'm instantly transported to a place that is just, I just relax. That's.
The first night we were sitting there, he says, I don't deserve this. He said, why do I have this? He says, I haven't done anything to deserve this nice of a gift, he said.
Just seeing something like that, and not even just hearing it, but just being able to look out my back, looking out my back windows and just looking at that, for me, I don't know. It's called the River of Hope Foundation, and you look out and you see hope. Dave, how you doing, Chad?
I'm doing good. I'm Chad. Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you. When you ran into us, we ran into a bunch of Viking fans.
That's what it's all about. That's okay.
We've just been fans forever.
Really?
And they're talking. Well, I was talking to Nate. I guess you're a big service fan too.
Yeah, absolutely. Service became important to me. You know, once I was in a position to help a lot of people, and we started a foundation, the Lead the Way Foundation.
And that's what this whole River of Hope Foundation for us has been about.
There you go. Most important one. Get these two.
It's been an honor having Dave as my husband, and he's just been the best father to our children anybody could ask for. He's the most loving, caring, giving person that you will find on the face of this earth. And I think if we can just be as supportive as we can through this journey that he's on, and love him as much as we can and help him get through this difficult time, I think that's just the best anybody can do and anybody could ask for. We just love him so much.
I accept this as just another challenge that God's given me. I said, everything I get for God. Usually it's for a reason. I said, I just accept that. I said, my job description is not going to change from me living here and me passing on. I said, I serve here and I will serve when I'm dead. I said, so I don't see that as an ending of something. I see it as a transition from one thing to another. One of the things that I have found since I have was diagnosed with this was the outpouring of caring and mercy and love and just support that I've had from people has just been amazing. I mean, you get to see this wonderful side of people that are just willing to help you out. And I don't see how you can see that as any other way than a gift.
David was very much at peace when he passed away, and he was surrounded by his entire family. He was so loved, and I know that he knew he was loved. He taught his 3 sons that serving is the most important thing you can do for others. And I think that his legacy will always live in his sons. It's so important to donate to the River of Hope Foundation because you provide peace and strength through hope by giving someone a backyard retreat. David's pond helped him and us as a family get through this difficult time. There will be brighter days ahead, and the peace of knowing that he is alive in our hearts, and we can look out at our pond and know that everything is well. What I would like to say to everyone who's provided this backyard sanctuary to my family is thank you, and we just appreciate everything that you've done. It was just a wonderful gift from the River of Hope. We have a remembrance of him that we so much appreciate and cherish.
To be a part of the River of Hope and to help others like Dave as they heal from this deadly disease that affects so many, please log on now to theriverofhopefoundation.org and donate, or nominate someone you know to be our next recipient. Thanks for watching.